up? It's your boy Kwane, aka Bafana Nyandeni. Welcome to Kwane React, and welcome to the review, the show where I'll be reviewing the albums that I didn't get a chance to react to. So I'll review like a whole body of work of like a hip hop album.
100 racks, I'ma run to it. Next check, run to it. Get fame, run from it. New kicks, I'ma run with him. Young nigga run, just run. Young nigga run, just run. Young nigga run, just run. Young nigga run. If I make 100 racks, I'ma run to it. Next check, run to it. Get fame, run from it. New kicks, I'ma run with him. Young nigga run, just run. 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 Get you, get you. Yeah.
So the first review on this new show, we're gonna be reviewing Emtee's new offering. I think it's his third studio album. By third, I'm not counting DIY. I'm not counting. It's only DIY that he did. Yeah, DIY 1 and DIY 2. So this is his third offering called Logan, named after his second son. The first one was Avery, and then there was Manando. Now we're up to Logan. It's a 16-track album. It's a full body of work, and yeah, at the end of this I'll be rating it, like rating it out of 5 Kwanes. But first I want to just break it down a bit, break down the tracks, sequencing my favorite tracks, top 3 or top 5 tracks, and a track that I think could be the next single or stands a good chance of being the next single. He dropped 5 singles with this album last year, so in preparation. But I still feel like as the album goes as a whole, you can take out all these 5 singles and still be left with like a solid body of work. So this is true, like with the first track called Revolutionary.
This one for the youth them, you know. Hey. Say no to depression, yeah. No more stressing. Living is a blessing.
So which is just like he really went in. Like it's not like a typical intro track, like where it's like an intro, but he just went in like, guys, I'm gonna rap. I'm gonna show you what exactly to expect, because I feel like the singles themselves already gave us like painted like a picture of what to expect with this album. And as we know, Emtee, we already like an idea of what to expect, but Revolutionary is somewhat different from the rest of the singles. So as an intro track, it's like, okay, maybe I'm listening to something new totally altogether, because the 5 tracks will be like a standalone EP. And then when you get to like Revolutionary, you feel like, okay, maybe this is gonna be something new. And then the title track is really up there, guys. Like
Hey, Jizakhele usapho lami. Hey, anything for intwana zami. Futhi bafana.
As a title track, Logan is like up there with the best of them. I feel like it really captures not just his son, but how he views like his whole family as a whole. So like as a title track, is really a fantastic song. It could have been like the intro track too, which was gonna be a great setup to like the whole album, but it still works. And like a fan favorite right now at the moment, it's Long Way.
I fuck with you the long way. I got you all day. Hey, you bring me peace after a long day. I fuck with you the long way. I got you all day.
I feel like a lot of people would expect this to be like the next single, because like the way it's taking off, the way people are listening to it, the way people are, I don't know, maybe it's because it's a love song. You know how we are, we're all smoochy, but we don't wanna believe that we all believe in Cupid. We don't wanna admit that we all believe in Cupid. But yeah, like this is like the game or like the streets are really reacting to it really fully. But I feel like I don't want him to release it as a single. It should stay an album track, because it holds more weight. It holds more weight in the album, so it should never be like a single on its own. especially after Logan, like the sequencing Logan and then Long Way, because Logan is still talking about like a love for his son and for his sons and his family, and then Long Way is about his baby mama or his wife. It's still like in the album perspective, it's still like it gives the album that much power, so it shouldn't. Plus, people are already finding it in the album, so you shouldn't really release it as a single. So yeah, and then the rest of the tracks, the rest of the tracks are dope. Let me just move on to like as the album as a whole. Like it's empty as you'd expect. Like it's empty from all the other features where he's just spacing with the hooks. So here it's just hooks and Emtee just trapping everywhere. You know, it's like every Emtee. This one, I love it. I feel like it is like a bit of a mixture between Avery and Manando, so that's why it's been charting so much, because the one thing that this album has is replay value. Like you can play this album over and over, unlike a lot of other rap songs, because I feel like the one thing that we don't have in hip hop, like strictly rap hip hop, is especially in like the South African context, we don't have a lot of replay value. South Africans want to like zone out, want to dance. Whereas with rap, unless you're like a hip hop head or a rap head, you won't get like the need to replay it. You'll just play it the first time and you'll be amazed by bars and by like cadences. But unless you like really into rap, you won't be replaying it. But so that's the one thing that Emtee does well in his albums. It gives you songs, it gives you like whole music that you can come back and listen to. That's why all his albums are classics, because even today you can listen to Manado and feel like, hey, it still goes. So yeah, that's the one thing about all these songs. So with that said, I had to go to sequencing of the album. It's a 16-track album, which is never easy to sequence a 16-track album, guys. That should not take that lightly. It's not easy to sequence, especially if you have like a subject matter that you want to cover. It's very difficult to like sequence, you know, a 16 tracks together. So I feel like it did quite well for the most part, with like a few exceptions. I think maybe two or three exceptions. Like the first 10 tracks, they are perfect except for Uzoimela.
Imali balakho enesiphanda mo dweleng yakolo uzama ukunhlokolo imali balakho enesiphanda mo dweleng yakolo uzama ukunhlokolo.
I feel like Uzoimela being like such a hard song, like being such a like it's really like a hard rap song. I feel like it could have moved further down the list. Maybe like track 11 and then like give way to the other songs that are coming here, because the subject matter between 1 and 10 is almost similar. It's not really the same, but it's almost similar. It's like giving us a look into Emtee's mindset, into both subject matter and beat selections for the first 10 tracks. It's almost similar. So Uzoimela seems like it's out of place if you are really listening to like the whole thing. So but if you put it like just after track number 10, it really brings in like the second phase of the album, where Emtee is just going off, where Emtee is just reminding us that, hey, I can still rap, you know. So yeah, that's the one. And then the other one that I don't like its position here is La Pasha.
I'm on some other shit. I can chase a bitch. I'm tryna get rich. I need my money right now. On the sheet, cooling in a nicks. I want them foreign weeks. I need that money right now. Pay up. I was a Pasha, ayy.
La Pasha, the only thing that saves La Pasha right now is the fact that it was the last single. So because it was a single, we already knew we couldn't put it like as a bonus track, we were still gonna be fine. But if you are being introduced to like Emtee with this album and you haven't heard any of the singles, La Pasha should be way up. Like La Pasha should be like number 7 or right before Uzoimela, you know, because even though he's still talking his shit on La Pasha, he's still like the Emtee from A Brand New Day, the Emtee from Itemba. So you know, that whole situation there is still like La Pasha and then everything else down there. But apart from that, yeah, everything else in this album works. The songs work, the subject matter works. And Emtee is so clear on this album. It's surprising, given the fact that in his interview he's not as clear as he is here. Let's talk about my top 5 favorite tracks. I'm gonna start with number 1. I don't know why. Start with my all-time favorite track on this album. A track which I feel is slept on, given that it was part of the singles that were released last year. Itemba.
Don't throw in the towel, don't give up now. Raise your chin up now. I say, don't throw in the towel, don't give up now. Raise your chin up now. Hey, that's what I told myself.
Guys, Itemba is severely slept on. Yo, Itemba is such a dope tune, dog. Like, Emtee is just flossing on Itemba. The beats and Emtee. That's this, guys. So it's really there. It's like my number 1 on my top 5 tracks. Guys, please listen to Emtee. It's like, especially after like watching and knowing of Emtee's story with the whole ambitious and his let's call it addiction or his dependency to lean and weed. If you listen to Emtee, you really like get like a glimpse of who Emtee is. So that's my number 1. Number 2, obviously, it's like it's the title track, Logan. Logan is fire. Did I say more? Logan is fire. If Emtee was not there, obviously Logan was gonna be number 1. Then number 3, Uzoimela, a track which I feel should be the next single, but more on that later. But Uzoimela is a great introduction to Kwamba and Emtee and Kwamba and the beat itself. This is a fire tune. This is like, it's grimy, dog. It's a fire tune. I love it. It's my number 3. And then number 4 is Kasha with Lowly Native and Fletchy Kumkan. I love that track. I really love it. Like, I feel like it's a great track, and it's a great track, and Emtee is studying a video for this track, so it's a dope tune. So please, next thing should be a video for this track. So yeah, that's like Kasha. Then number 5 is tied between Slide, and some so-called Slide.
Guess what I'm trying to do? Slide. Guess what I'm trying to do? Slide.
I feel like if Emtee was like an American where TikTok was huge and where we used, the local music on TikTok, I feel like Slide was gonna be chatting on TikTok. It's really like an easy tune, dog. Like it's just a spaced out type of tune, and I didn't expect something like this from Emtee. So yeah, Slide. And then some so-called with no moves, yeah.
Terry pusha some so-called. Terry tata di control. Habatali fede for call. Liko kasi by Tison. Hesa ma front man list. Kali party baba.
The reason is here, it's such an old track because I heard they recorded it like 2 years, 3 years back, but it still fits within like the whole picture of this album. And it's fire. I know we don't trust Moody when it comes to rapping, but here she held her own because this feels like more like a quieter tune than a hip hop tune, so she really held her own. And Emtee was like a bit taken out of his comfort zone and still held his own. So yeah, that's my top 5-ish. If you don't count the fact that I have 2 number 5s. So yeah, and then the next thing, a track that I feel should be the next single I already mentioned, Uzoimela. Now here are my reasons and when it should be Uzoimela. Right now I feel like Emtee still has a dope tune with La Kasha. You should be pushing La Kasha. If you can, shoot a video for La Kasha, like a proper video for La Kasha. Push it over like the winter and push that and use that to push the album. And then also tease like Long Way, not make Long Way singing, just tease it everywhere. Like play it on his Instagram, like make some reels with Long Way, not as a single, just to keep the hype going. But then when it comes to springtime, you should definitely release Uzoimela as a single, because this is like such a summer anthem, it's such a summer hit. And once the country opens, I feel like this is going to be a dope tune for him to perform to like a live audience. So Uzoimela definitely should be released as the next single, like way into the future, not now though. Now you should be pushing like the tracks in the album itself, but Uzoimela should be the next single with like proper show content. Like if you get shows, you should be pushing the album with these songs like Uzoimela, which is because it's a dope tune. And yeah, the last thing, let's rate this album, guys. Told you I'm gonna be rating it out of 5 Kwanes. Out of 5, I think I'll give it a. Given that we already know what Emtee is capable of, and he already gave us something, maybe not similar in subject matter, but something similar with Avery and Manando. It feels like this is the proper. It feels like it's a trilogy. You can play all albums back to back up to this one without feeling like you're being left out. It feels like the proper trilogy. So with that in mind, I'm gonna give it like a 4 out of 5, dog. It's a solid project. And plus, I mentioned the replay value on this song, on this album is really fantastic. I've been listening to it non-stop for the past 2 weeks since it dropped. So that's exactly why I would rate it as high as I'm rating it. So yeah, 4 out of 5. And as an album, that's dope. It's a dope album. Also, the only negative with this album, I feel like the only song that I don't really feel like it belongs in this album is Come Closer featuring Jay's Match.
Come closer, baby. Yeah. Don't be scared of me. Yeah. No. Come closer, baby.
Like, we could have done without it. Like, it does nothing. Like, in my opinion, it does nothing to the album. Like, it could have been what do you call this thing? A bonus track. Could have been just another track, but it's fine at the last song, but as the last song of the album, but it really doesn't belong to. That's just my opinion. It doesn't belong to this album. It does nothing to this album. Remove it, and no one know that Come Closer was ever part of the album. So yeah, apart from that, it's a solid project. Shout out Emtee, and it really does give us a picture of Emtee's thoughts, because in interviews, I just watched the McG interview now, and I feel like McG was spoon feeding most of the answers, or directing him to how he was supposed to answer, but as soon as he gets on a track, it's so different. Like, his thought process is so eloquently and well put in like the songs, so which is what makes his music so well. Because if you've seen Emtee anywhere else outside of his music, you wouldn't believe that this is the same Emtee. So yeah, it's a solid project. It's a great project. Yeah, and that's it for this review. Let me know if you like this, and which other albums you feel like I should review. Even if they dropped last year, I can still review them. I'll be doing reviews once a month. So yeah. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think of this review. If you agree with it, if you don't agree with it, what songs you think should be higher on your list, and what's your top 5 from this album, and what song do you think should be the next single from the album, or if you feel like the 5 singles are already, you overdid it with the 5 singles. Let me know what you think of this album in this review. And if you haven't, please hit that subscribe button. Until next video, it's been your boy Kwane, aka Bafana Nyandini, saying peace out.
Make 100 racks, I'ma run through it. Next check, run through it. Get fame, run from it. New kicks, I'ma run with him. Young nigga run, just run. Young nigga run, just run. Young nigga run, just run. Young nigga run. If I make 100 racks, I'ma run through it. Next check, run through it. Get fame, run from it. New kicks, I'ma run with him. Young nigga run, just run. 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 Get you.